Part 4. The regent is a yandere who needs to be pampered. Author, Nan Huang. Chapter 31. Gu Qingshu frowned slightly and looked at him with a hurt face. Sister 11, what's wrong with you? We have been in love for 4 years, are you really going to throw it away just like that? Nan 11 looked at the man with superb acting skills in front of her. If there were not so many people watching, she really wanted to clap her hands and praise him for his good acting skills. It would be a pity if he didn't become an actor. But who is afraid of who in acting these days? Nan 11 took 2 steps out with a bit of bitterness on her face. Gu Qingshu, I was young and ignorant before, just forget me, we are really not suitable. But I only like you. Gu Qingshu stretched out his hand to hold her hand, but was avoided by Nan 11. Sister 11, my heart beats only for you, I only have you in my eyes, if you are gone dash. Without me, don't you still have Nan Yu? Nan 11 lowered her eyebrows, her tone was sad and lost. Nan Yu said she is pregnant with your child, I hope you can treat her well in the future. What? The crowd was shocked, and their eyes turned fiery when they looked at Gu Qingshu. What a hot news! Nan Yu is pregnant with Gu Qingshu's child? This is impossible. Sister 11, Gu Qingshu's face changed drastically. His face was flushed by the onlookers and he felt extremely embarrassed. How can you say such things casually? Nan 11 said calmly, did I say such things casually? You know whether Nan Yu is pregnant with your child, and she knows it too. You can go back and ask her, or ask a doctor to go back and take her pulse. Oh, by the way, Nan Yu stabbed me in the regent's palace, and then was injured by the prince. I'm not sure whether the child is saved. You should go back and check on her as soon as possible. She can't be alone. Gu Qingshu's face turned pale and gloomy. He gritted his teeth and said, Sister 11, I still hope you can think clearly. I really like you, and you clearly still have feelings for me. Please think about canceling the engagement again. I'm leaving first. After the voice fell, he turned around and left in a hurry, not knowing whether he was afraid that Nan 11 would say no and completely block his way back, or he was really worried about the child in Nan Yu's belly. His footsteps were so fast that it seemed like something was chasing him from behind. Seeing this, the onlookers looked at each other in bewilderment. Could it be that Miss Nan is really pregnant? Gu Qingshu looks quite anxious. Yeah, he keeps saying that he likes Miss Nan, but when he heard that Miss Nan was pregnant, he ran back desperately. Doesn't this confirm the fact of pregnancy? I really can't tell that Mr. Gu, who seems to be gentle and affectionate on the surface, is actually playing 2 boats and wants to imitate the ancient Huang and envying to share a husband. Tisk, you really can't judge a person by appearance. Someone in the crowd looked at Nan 11, Miss, did Miss Nan really stab you? Nan 11 nodded and reached out to touch her left arm. My arm was injured, and there was such a long cut. As she said that, she gestured the length with 2 fingers. What an ungrateful person, the man said coldly. Miss Nan used to love the sister very much, but she hurt Miss Nan in the blink of an eye. She is really ungrateful. Miss Nan actually fell in love with such an ungrateful person. It seems that her vision is not very good. It doesn't matter whether the vision is good or not, another person said. Now he is treacherous and hypocritical, and he has failed Miss Nan's deep love and loyalty. This is the key point. The regent is a yandere who needs to be pampered. Author, Nan Huang. Chapter 32. Nan 11 did not lie about Nan Yu's pregnancy, nor did she deliberately wrongly accuse Gu Qingshu and Nan Yu. At this time in her previous life, she did not know that when she was trapped and endured the burden in the regent's mansion, Nan Yu had already been in love with Gu Qingshu. Just like the marriage between 2 countries, the relationship between them is stronger when they become a family, and they can trust each other more when they cooperate. Nan Yu took advantage of Gu Qingshu's relationship to bring her mother, who was born in a brothel, into the Prime Minister's mansion to recognize her ancestors and become a legitimate concubine's daughter in the Prime Minister's mansion, ranking second. And Gu Qingshu married Nan Yu and was still the son-in-law of the Prime Minister's mansion. This is a win-win cooperation. At this time in Nan Yu's previous life, she had actually committed herself to Gu Qingshu. Just a few days after entering the Prime Minister's mansion, Nan Yu and Gu Qingshu both knelt in front of the Prime Minister and confessed that they were pregnant and married with a baby. Naturally, the Prime Minister would never leak such a shameful scandal, so Nan 11 was kept in the dark. When she learned the news, almost a year had passed, and Nan Yu's child was almost a month old. As for whether Nan Yu was pregnant in these 2 days, Nan 11 was not sure, but judging from Gu Qingshu's hasty and guilty reaction, it was a foregone conclusion that the two had had physical contact, and there was no room for quibbling. With so many onlookers, what happened today would soon spread throughout the streets and alleys. Didn't Gu Qingshu claim to be affectionate? Didn't he claim to be a gentleman? She wanted to see what choice Gu Qingshu would make after knowing that Nan Yu had no chance to step into the Prime Minister's mansion and could not become the second daughter of the Nan family. Nan Yu is just a concubine's daughter, she said in a light tone. My father is the Prime Minister of the current dynasty. He has always valued his reputation and it is impossible for him to bring a concubine's daughter into the family. So you can change your words in the future. She is not the second daughter of the Nan family. Does the Prime Minister value his reputation? A man smiled. Yes, that's right. After all, he is the most favored Prime Minister in front of the Emperor. Of course, he must have a harmonious family and a clean family. Of course, he can't bring any messy people into the family. Nan 11 looked at the person who spoke, smiled lightly, and turned to enter Ma Beizai. Of course, she knew what the man meant by his expression. If her father really valued his reputation, he would not have liked a brothel girl, and he also let this brothel girl get pregnant with his child. This is simply, no scholar would do such a thing. So Nan 11 felt that her father was really a hypocritical hypocrite who said one thing and did another behind his back. What does Miss Nan want to see? Nan 11's eyes fell on the Duan inkstone that the shopkeeper had just introduced. This is the carving of a fish leaping over the dragon gate. Are there any other ones? What kind does Miss Nan want? Nan 11 pondered for a moment and wanted to say that she wanted a 5-clawed golden dragon, but she was worried that she would scare the shopkeeper to death if she said it, so she said calmly, auspicious dragon and phoenix. The shopkeeper was immediately suspicious when he heard this. Didn't Miss Nan just break up her engagement with Gu Qingshu? Why did she suddenly think of buying an inkstone with auspicious dragon and phoenix carvings? Miss, do you want to keep it for yourself or give it to someone else? Nan 11 said, give it to someone else. The shopkeeper nodded, I'll pack it for Miss Nan right away. Ms. Nan had been standing quietly by the side, looking at Nan 11 with deep thought in her eyes. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The regent is a yandere who needs to be pampered. Author, Nan Huang. Chapter 33. Holding the inkstone she just bought, Nan 11 turned around and walked out with Ms. Nan. Do you still want to go shopping elsewhere? Of course I want to go. Ms. Nan smiled. Didn't I agree to buy you some jewelry? Nan 11 smiled lightly. I actually don't lack jewelry or anything like that. Buying too much is a waste. If you don't spend the money you earn, why would you put it there? Ms. Nan said, my mother has been unable to spend all she has earned over the years. Even if you spend a few thousand taels every day, it will be enough for you to spend for many years. Nan 11 was silent for a moment. Don't be afraid of having too much money, you will always find it useful in the future. Ms. Nan could hear that there were some strange and profound meanings hidden in her words, but she didn't ask any more questions. She just patted her hand lovingly, buy whatever you want, and do whatever you want. Mom has already said it, all the property in my hands will be yours from now on, and no one else, including your father, can even think about taking advantage of the property in my hands. After a pause, originally, for the sake of Mrs. Nan, I was willing to pay for the expenses of the house. Anyway, the money is just a drop in the bucket to me. But since you are not happy, mother will not give it to them anymore. It's money, so you don't have to let them know what the world is like. A drop in the bucket? Nan 11 couldn't help but twitch her mouth when she thought that her mother's 3,000 taels of silver were just used as beggars. She was indeed a wealthy mother, and her tone of voice was different. The mother and daughter laughed and got into the carriage to go to another long street. As expected by Nan 11, when Gu Qingshu returned to the mansion, he hurriedly asked for a doctor. Among the people watching the excitement outside Mo Baizai, there were some meddlesome people who secretly targeted the Gu mansion. After learning that Gu Qingshu had invited a doctor, after the doctor diagnosed Nanyu's pulse, he couldn't help but sneered, he is indeed a hypocrite who only shows his appearance. He talks one thing and does the other behind his back. See how he exposes the true face of this hypocrite among the young students in the imperial capital. The carriage drove slowly along the long street. Arriving at a bustling street specializing in selling jewelry and rouge and gouache, the carriage slowly stopped. Nan 11 was about to get off the carriage, but when she opened the curtain, she suddenly saw a familiar person. The figure in green clothes flashed out of sight and quickly disappeared. However, Nan 11 suddenly remembered something, there was a traitor in the regent's palace. Rongyu was appointed regent by the late emperor at a young age. Although it was because of his outstanding ability and strong skills, the biggest reason was actually his great achievements. The late emperor was critically ill, so the most important thing to do was to establish an heir to the throne instead of passing over the adult princes and directly appointing the emperor's younger brother as regent. This was clearly a deliberate praising. The late emperor wanted to give Rongyu great power while he was still young, and deliberately let him dominate the government. In this way, after the new emperor ascends the throne, he will regard the young uncle as a major problem and wish to get rid of it quickly. When a new emperor succeeds to the throne, he must establish his prestige. Is there any better way to achieve the purpose of establishing prestige than by killing a powerful prince? Killing two birds with one stone in this way can not only intimidate the courtiers, establish the power of the emperor, but also get rid of serious worries. This is the true emperor's mental skill. Killings everywhere. 11 What's wrong? Mrs. Nan saw that she lowered the car curtain and didn't move for a long time, so she couldn't help but ask, did you see an acquaintance? Nan 11 came back to her senses and smiled, maybe I was dazzled, but I thought of something just now. I will go to the Prince Regent's mansion later. The regent is a yandere who needs to be pampered. Author, Nan Huang. Chapter 34. The prince should be in the military camp this afternoon. Yin Yu said, Miss, you can go for a walk first, the prince won't be angry. Nan 11 smiled faintly, I'm not going back because I'm afraid that the prince will be angry, but I have something to tell him. Yin Yu was very happy when she heard it, Miss, if you take the initiative to discuss things with the prince will definitely be very happy. Mrs. Nan looked at Yin Yu, her expression was a little subtle. A powerful regent would be very happy just because 11 took the initiative to discuss things with him. Is it so exaggerated? Nan 11 smiled faintly and said nothing. She got off the carriage first and turned to Madame Nan and said, didn't Nan Jiao take a fancy to the bracelet in the Moyo Pavilion? I want to go and see it too. Moyo Pavilion is one of the two most famous jewelry stores in the imperial city. It has all kinds of jewelry. They are precious and valuable. Only the rich and powerful can afford them. Even some princes, princesses, or noble ladies of high-ranking officials sometimes have to bite their teeth and bear the pain to buy the bracelets and head ornaments that are novel and unique but expensive. The weather is most comfortable in the spring when the flowers are blooming. There are many people going out shopping, especially on this street. The people coming and going are all noble men in brocade and jade robes, or noble and elegant ladies or daughters of noble families. As soon as Nan 11 stepped into the Mabeo pavilion, someone in the pavilion recognized her with sharp eyes and greeted her enthusiastically and surprised, "Madam Nan, Miss Nan." Nan 11 nodded. After hearing this greeting, the ladies and young ladies who were looking at jewelry turned their heads to look at Nan 11. Then everyone had different expressions, and their eyes looking at the mother and daughter were all a little strange. "Madam Nan and Miss Nan are also here to buy jewelry." A lady in a rose-red dress smiled and said, "I haven't seen you for a long time. What a coincidence today." Madam Nan recognized that the other party was the wife of Lord Lin, the Minister of Rights. She smiled and nodded when she heard it. "Yes, what a coincidence. Tomorrow is the birthday banquet of Princess Baoling. My daughter Zuzu has been invited to the banquet. I brought her to pick a gift for Princess Baoling as a birthday gift. Are you the same?" "I don't know what gift Miss Nan is going to give to Princess Baoling. I was in a dilemma just now. Would you like Miss Nan to help me make an idea?" Mom, the girl next to her in a light pink flowing dress, frowned. She opened her mouth with an embarrassed expression. Princess Baoling did not invite Miss Nan. Ah, Mrs. Lin heard it, as if she suddenly reacted, and hurriedly covered her mouth. "Well, sorry, I didn't know. I thought Princess Baoling would invite Miss Nan." "Wasn't Miss Nan in the regent's mansion before?" the girl explained in a low voice. The princess also felt it was inconvenient, and she didn't mean to look down on Miss Nan on purpose. The mother and daughter's unintentional explanation, regardless of whether it made things worse, directly shifted the attention of the onlookers to the fact that Nan 11 was trapped in the regent's mansion. Yes, shouldn't Miss Nan be serving the regent in the regent's mansion? How did she have the opportunity to come out? The regent's mansion is heavily guarded, and it's not easy to get in and out. Could it be that the regent is no longer interested in Miss Nan? How is it possible? The regent is in a high position and has great power. It's rare for him to like a girl this time. How could he get tired of her so quickly? Miss Nan didn't sneak out by herself. The regent is a yandere who needs to be pampered. Author, Nan Huang. Chapter 35. I heard that the engagement between Miss Nan and Mr. Gu was terminated. Is it because of the relationship with the regent? After all, the regent has a noble status and great power. I don't know how many times better than Gu Qingshu, who is only a minister for the time being. If he can marry the regent, immediately became the real princess, and her status rose. From then on, she flew to the branches and became a phoenix. If it were me, I would definitely choose the regent. Mrs. Nan frowned, the smile on her face faded little by little, and she looked expressionlessly at the so-called elegant and dignified ladies and daughters of aristocratic families in front of her. This is the wife of an official and a wealthy lady whom Nan Xingzi talks about praising all day long. Virtuous, dignified, and knowledgeable? In her opinion, these are simply a group of street shrews, and they are also uneducated shrews. How could Nan 11 offend them and be so malicious when she opened her mouth? Miss Lin has a great reputation. I am very happy to receive the invitation letter from Princess Baoling, Mrs. Nan said in a calm voice. Lin Shangshu has been an official in the court for more than 30 years. It is not easy for him to climb to the position of Shangshu. It's easy. Of course, we should take this opportunity to establish a good relationship between our daughter and the princess. Mrs. Lin's face turned green. Mrs. Nan, what do you mean? It's not interesting. Mrs. Nan smiled lightly. What I mean is that it is not easy for Mr. Lin to be an official. He is also old now, and there should be no chance of promotion. Mrs. Lin and Miss Lin are in front of me, the wife of a first-class prime minister. In front of me, you dare to ridicule my daughter with words. You are really brave. Mrs. Lin's heart skipped a beat, and then she realized that she was only focused on talking fast and had forgotten the identity of the other party. This is also due to the fact that Mrs. Nan, the royal wife, is so unpopular that even the Prime Minister dislikes her. Who outside knows? But no matter how unfavored she was still the Prime Minister's wife, and Nan 11 was still the eldest daughter of the Prime Minister's house. Mrs. Lin looked embarrassed and explained, I actually don't have any ill intentions, it's just. Nan 11 was brought into the palace by the regent, not of her own free will. As you all said just now, the regent has a distinguished status and a high position of power. How can the Nan family compete with it? Mrs. Nan turned her head and looked up at Mou. All the ladies in the pavilion obviously didn't want to hear Mrs. Lin's explanation, but my 11er is a girl with a sense of shame. When she enters the regent's palace, no matter whether she has anything to do with the regent or not, she will inevitably arouse suspicion. Her reputation is already very high. It is difficult for people to believe in innocence. After all, many ignorant people are like a few ladies. They are always full of malice towards people and things. When encountering something, they can't wait to accuse others first. No matter what the truth is. Several ladies were embarrassed by what she said. That's why 11er also cancelled her marriage to Gu Qingshu for his sake. I hope you can understand this. Of course we know dash. As for flying on a branch and becoming a phoenix, a faint smile appeared on Mrs. Nan's lips, and she looked condescendingly at the ladies in front of her. I dare not say anything else. For now, who of your daughters can be as good as my 11er? The expressions of all the ladies changed. Is your daughter more noble than my 11er, or richer than my 11er? Mrs. Nan pointed at Moya Pavilion. I can buy the silver building today with just a few words. Madams, buy some jewelry, but you still have to hesitate for a long time, and after buying it, you will feel pain for a few days when you go back. This is the difference. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The regent is a yandere who needs to be pampered. Author, Nan Huang. Chapter 36. The air seemed to suddenly become quiet. The faces of several ladies were a little confused, and embarrassment appeared on their faces. The slaps sounded loudly, like several merciless slaps on their faces, making them angry and ashamed. So, even if my 11er doesn't fly to the branches, she's still no worse than a phoenix. Mrs. Nan smiled lightly. Madams, if you are always talking about others, you might as well go back early and think about where your daughter should go. Flying on the branches. Well said. Yunyu was delighted to hear this, but she almost didn't clap her hands on the spot. Mrs. Nan finished speaking slowly, without caring about the pale faces of the ladies. She took her daughter's hand and said, in addition, the regent respects my 11er very much and has never been rude to 11er. 11er's return to the palace today was approved by the regent, and the regent also specially sent palace guards to protect my 11er's safety. Madam, you are right. Yunyu finally waited for the opportunity and couldn't wait to stand up. She looked coldly at the group of gossiping women in front of her who were afraid of chaos in the world. My prince said that Miss Nan 11 will be the regent's palace from now on. The mistress is the future princess. If anyone dares to bully my girl, please tell me the truth and explain to my prince. Having said this, Yunyu turned to look at Nan 11. Girl, the wife and daughter of Lin Shangshu's family are too rude. I will tell my prince when I get back that I will give up Lin Shangshu's official position and drive their family out of the imperial capital. Girl feels that how? Mrs. Lin's face turned pale and she hurriedly looked at Nan 11, Miss Nan. Nan 11 looked calm and didn't speak. That's right. Yunyu turned her head and pointed, you, and you, I heard everything you just said clearly, and I wrote it down word for word, saying that my girl was raped. Did the prince abandon her? He said that my girl hates being poor and loves being rich, right? Let me tell you, my prince loves the girl very much, so he is reluctant to let her suffer a little bit. The prince likes the girl who hates being poor and loves being rich. The girl goes to climb his high branches. Why are you envious and jealous? Looking at the ladies in front of her who had turned red and wanted to dig a hole in the ground, Nan 11's face remained calm, as if she was completely unaffected by the scene in front of her. Miss Nan, what I said just now really didn't mean anything malicious. Mrs. Lin had already come to her senses. She was afraid that Yunyu would really go back and tell the regent, so she quickly tried to save her. I didn't mean to show off, and I really don't know that Princess Bailing didn't send an invitation to Miss Nan. Mrs. Lin doesn't need to explain, Yunyu said. My girl has received the invitation a long time ago, so she came here today to choose a decent gift to give to Princess Bailing. I wonder if you have chosen it? If not, if it's okay, my girl can give you some advice. I picked it? Mrs. Lin hurriedly asked the servant to pay the money. The sight of a stack of banknotes indeed made her body ache, but how could she still have the energy to care about whether her body hurt or not? Well, Mrs. Nan and Miss Nan will pick it up slowly. Let's go first. Mrs. Lin took her daughter's hand and said goodbye to Mrs. Nan humbly. If you have time another day, please invite Mrs. Nan and Miss Nan to come to Shangshu Mansion for a drink tea. I will serve you well. Window. Tabula equals window. Tabula. Tabula.push, mode, thumbs feed -01, container, tabula below article thumbnail -300x250, placement, below article thumbnail -300x250, target. Type, mix. The regent is a yandere who needs to be pampered. Author, Nan Huang. Chapter 37. The other ladies also hurriedly found an excuse to leave. Madame Nan looked at the ladies who fled in panic and sneered. I thought they were all very brave. They turned pale when they heard the name of the regent. They even dared to sneer at others in public. Isn't this embarrassing? Although the new emperor has ascended the throne, his foundation is still shallow. The power of the government is almost in the hands of the regent. He only needs to say a word, and the emperor can't save the people the regent wants to deal with. Madam is right, Yunyu agreed. These ladies are just full and have nothing to do. They see other people's unhappy lives all day long and want to add insult to injury. In fact, they live better than them. Nan 11 was silent for a long time, and an indescribable taste rose in her heart, sour, sweet, and warm. It feels so good to be protected by others. Her mother was in the inner courtyard of the Prime Minister's mansion, and she was too lazy to fight back against the rude provocations of the concubines and concubines. In addition to never delaying making money, she lived a completely Buddhist life. Unexpectedly, today, in the bustling downtown area, in front of a large crowd, she used the momentum of one man guarding the pass. 10,000 men are invincible to make a group of chattering ladies speechless and unable to say a word. This is her biological mother, who gave birth to her after 10 months of pregnancy and had to do her best to protect her. And Yunyu. Although she was ordered by the regent to protect her, why is this girl so cute? Nan 11 smiled, and her eyes were a little wet. What's wrong with the girl? Yunyu found that Nan 11's eyes were a little red, and she was immediately anxious. Do you feel wronged? If the girl feels wronged, I will go back and tell my prince, and let the prince come forward to deal with these overconfident ladies. No, Nan 11 shook her head, and a smile rose at the corner of her lips. I'm just a little touched. Touched? Yunyu blinked. No way. Such a small scene has moved the girl so much. Then the prince should be nicer to the girl in the future. Will the girl be moved to marry him? Nan 11 didn't know what the girl was thinking at this moment. She just thought that God had mercy on her and gave her a chance to be reborn, probably to give her the opportunity to come back and repay those who were kind to her. Her mother, and the regent wrong you. The only two people in this life that cannot be let down, she will protect them in the future, and no one can bully them again. And if you want to avoid being calculated, you must hold the military power tightly and not let go. The Suanjia army is Rong Yu's hard work and the bargaining chip for his survival. Since his youth, the soldiers of the Suanjia army have followed him to fight north and south, and have made great military exploits, defending the territory of the Great Zhou, and protecting the people on the northern border from harassment and trampling by the enemy's iron cavalry. It is simply a daydream for the new emperor to take back the military power from the regent as soon as he ascended the throne. Nan 11 felt that she should have a good talk with Rong Yu when she went to the regent's mansion tonight. Neither the power of regent nor the military power should be handed over. 11 Madame Nan called her at the counter, "Come and take a look at this jade bracelet. The color is very bright and beautiful. Wearing it on your fair and slender wrist will definitely make you look noble." Nan 11 walked over and took a look at the bracelet in her mother's hand. "Well, the color is very good, top grade jade, and the price is absolutely jaw-dropping." "Madam has a good eye." The shopkeeper had a smile on his face. He was able to maintain a calm and enthusiastic smile after the dispute just now, which shows that he has extraordinary self-control. "This bracelet is the treasure of the silver shop. Even the princess has taken a fancy to this one this year, but she didn't buy it for some reasons. Because it was too expensive, the princess was reluctant to spend the money. The regent is a yandere who needs to be pampered." Author, Nan Huang. Chapter 38. Mrs. Nan knew that the eldest princess certainly could afford a bracelet. But the clothes and jewelry that the royal women usually wore were given by the emperor, especially the eldest princess was the elder sister of the current emperor, and the previous emperor loved her very much when he was in power. There were many good things in the storehouse of the princess's mansion. However, there were many rules in the royal family. The jewelry and silks given by the emperor could only be used by themselves and could not be cashed. The monthly salary of the princess's mansion also had a fixed quota. Although there was some extra income, it was nothing compared to the wealthy Mrs. Nan. So it was not an easy thing for her to pay for a bracelet with a few taels of silver. In this regard, although the status of the merchant's daughter was not as noble as that of the royal princess, she was obviously much more comfortable with money. If she saw anything she liked, she could buy it without frowning. "Try it on." Madame Nan lifted Nan 11's sleeve and put the bracelet on her wrist. The crystal green jade bracelet made Nan 11's slender wrist look even whiter and more jade-like. So beautiful, so beautiful. Nan 11 took a look and it was indeed beautiful. "Buy one for Yin Yu," she said, turning her head to look at Yin Yu. "What style do you like? Pick one yourself." Yin Yu was surprised for a moment, then waved her hands quickly. No, 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 I don't want it, young lady, don't bribe me." Nan 11 laughed. "What are you talking about? I'm not bribing, I just think you are the same age as me, and you are in your prime, so you should have a decent piece of jewelry. That can't be so expensive." Yin Yu still shook her head. "Really, I don't need it. I am a martial artist, I'm not used to wearing these. It would be a pity if I accidentally bump into them. No merit, no reward. She is just a guard, how can she wear such expensive jewelry on her hands? There is a hidden weapon on her wrist." Yin Yu suddenly thought of something, walked to Nan 11, quietly raised her hand, and showed her her sleeves. "Miss, I also have jewelry." Nan 11 saw a special silver bracelet on her wrist, and her heart moved slightly. "Is this a hidden weapon?" "Huh," Yin Yu was surprised. "Miss, do you know this?" "I guessed." Yin Yu whispered, "This is very powerful, a self-defense hidden weapon that can kill people invisibly. I will make one for you to use for self-defense someday." Nan 11 smiled. "Okay." She found that the guard Rong Yu chose for her was really cute, with martial arts skills, and a temper when it should be fierce, and like a naive little girl when no one provokes her. And Yin Chuang, although her temperament is completely different from Yin Yu, she looks cold and has no emotional fluctuations, but she is a person with personality. The price of this bracelet is 10,001 taels, the shopkeeper said. It means 1 in a million. Mrs. Nan raised his eyebrows. 1 in a million. The shopkeeper smiled and said, yes. Mrs. Nan smiled faintly, but didn't say anything. Wrap it up. Mrs. Nan glanced at Nan 11's wrist. Forget it, no need to wrap it up, just wear it like this. As she said that, she took out a stack of silver bills from her purse and counted out 10 of them. This is 10,000 taels. She took out a small ingot of silver. This is 1 tael. The shopkeeper smiled and said, Madam is really generous. I brought my daughter out to spend money today, Mrs. Nan said. Besides, I just drove away so many of your customers. How can I not be generous? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The regent is a yandere who needs to be pampered. Author, Nan Huang. Chapter 39. With the shopkeeper's warm farewell, Mrs. Nan took Nan 11 to another treasure house and bought a pair of earrings, a hairpin, and some good rouge and gouache for her. Near noon, the two of them headed back home. As soon as Nan 11 walked into Tingyu Tower, she saw Nan Jiao walking around anxiously in the yard, looking extremely impatient. The maid next to her saw Mrs. Nan and Nan 11 returning first and quickly reminded her in a low voice. Nan Jiao turned her head, and the impatience on her face was instantly replaced by a smile. Auntie, sister, you are back. Nan 11 smiled half-heartedly. It seems that Aunt Li didn't tell you what I said. Nan Jiao was slightly stunned. What are you talking about? My mother is the mistress of the Prime Minister's mansion, Nan 11 said calmly. According to the rules, how should you be called? Nan Jiao frowned subconsciously when she heard this, as if she was displeased. However, she was asking for help at the moment, and she didn't dare to express her temper. She just lowered her eyebrows and lowered her eyes, and said respectfully, Mother, I used to be a spoiled child. Jiao doesn't know etiquette, so I bother my mother to teach me. Hold on for a while, wait for her to establish a good relationship with Princess Bailing, and then slowly deal with the mother and daughter. Nan 11 said calmly, this mother sounds like she is unwilling to do so, but my mother has never cared about this, otherwise she would have made up her mind to renovate the inner house long ago. Renovating the inner house? Nan Jiao sneered. Yuan wanted to rectify it, but did she have the power? Her father didn't like Yuan at all. He disliked her for being a merchant and having a very humble status. What qualifications did she have to be the wife of the Prime Minister? Don't you just rely on the money you have in your hands? Do you still want to be like the mistresses of high-ranking families and have all your concubines and concubines treat her with respect? Just dream. Since you've already paid your respects, you don't have anything to do here. Go back, Mrs. Nan said calmly. It's not that she didn't see the ridicule on Nan Jiao's face, but she didn't care. 11 and I are also tired from shopping. Need a break. Nan Jiao's face changed slightly. Mother, I. Is there anything else? Mrs. Nan looked at her expressionlessly. If there is anything else, we have to talk about it tomorrow. I'm very tired now and don't want to hear anything. But I can't wait until tomorrow. Nan Jiao gritted her teeth, her face slightly red. I'm going to attend Princess Bailing's birthday party tomorrow, and I haven't prepared the gifts yet. Congratulatory gifts? Mrs. Nan frowned. Since we haven't prepared the congratulatory gifts yet, why don't you hurry up and prepare them? What are you doing in 11's yard? Is the old immortal just pretending to be confused, or is he really stupid? Nan Jiao could barely control her temper. She clenched her hands, suppressed the anger in her heart, and said respectfully, I want to get some money from my mother. Don't you have monthly routines every month? How can that monthly amount be enough? It's all spent buying 2 pairs of clothes. Nan Jiao looked at the ice blue crocodile dress Nan 11 was wearing with jealousy. One dress was worth several of hers. They were both daughters of the Prime Minister. Why were they treated so differently? And these things I bought today. Nan Jiao looked at the brocade boxes held by Yin Yu and the other maids with jealousy. They were all from high-end silver houses and powder houses. She was so jealous that she almost couldn't help but want to grab them. Why could Nan 11 buy them so much? Why can Nan 11 buy whatever she wants? Because I am my mother's biological daughter, it is natural for my mother to give me flowers with her money. Nan 11 walked up to her, her voice was light, as if she could see what she was thinking. You don't have to be jealous, Aunt Li, she is your mother, and she should be willing to spend her money on you. The regent is a yandere who needs to be pampered. Author, Nan Huang. Chapter 40. But the problem is that her mother has no money. Nan Jiao was angry, but she endured it again and again, and still spoke humbly, isn't it mother who manages the finances in the mansion? If I need money, of course I have to come to mother. The one who manages the finances is also the head of the family. There must be rules at home. Madame Nan stepped into the house. If everyone is like you, there will be mountains of gold and silver. It's not enough to squander. Nan Jiao's face changed, but everyone in the mansion has a monthly allowance, and the standard is also determined according to their respective identities. No one can get special treatment. Madame Nan said calmly, there is not enough money, so you can only find a way by yourselves. Nan Jiao's face changed again and again, but it wasn't like that before. The past was the past, and now is now. Madame Nan said in a light tone, there is no order without rules. As she said this, she glanced at the servants in the room. Listen to me, everyone. From today on, except for the eldest girl, anyone who enters my yard must be notified in advance. I will pass this order down later so that the guards outside will also know. Yes. If there are any irrelevant people who break in again, they will be dealt with according to the family rules. Yes. Nan Jiao was dissatisfied. Why can the eldest sister be treated specially? Because 11er is the eldest daughter of this family and the eldest daughter of this family. Madame Nan looked at her, spoke word by word, and said very clearly, because she is my biological daughter, this is the privilege she should enjoy. What do you think? Nan Jiao certainly had opinions, and they were very big. Why didn't there have so many rules before? Just because Nan 11 suddenly came back today, there were more rules, and even the silver couldn't be taken? Nan Jiao glanced at Nan 11 coldly, thinking that she must have been the one who was doing bad things and sowing discord in front of the lady, otherwise how could the soft persimmon in the past suddenly become so tough? She and her mother came here to get silver more than once or twice, and the lady had never refused them once, giving them whatever they asked for, except today. Big sister Nan Jiao pursed her lips, her tone somewhat reluctant. I was ignorant before, I will definitely serve my mother well in the future, and will never dare to be disrespectful. Sister, please forgive me this time, okay? When you are under someone's roof, you have to bow your head. Get the silver first. We'll see how you perform in the future. Nan 11 said calmly, I hope you can do what you say. Nan Jiao was delighted. Then this time What this time? Nan 11 raised her eyebrows, her eyes became indifferent. You and your daughter came to make trouble one after another in one day, and even invited your father to come. Do you really think I'm a paper tiger without temper? Nan Jiao gritted her teeth, her face instantly became ugly. You. Nan 11 said, what about me? Nan Jiao was about to speak, but suddenly met Nan 11's cold and distant eyes. The dark eyes seemed to contain endless chills, which made Nan Jiao suddenly shudder, and her anger was instantly extinguished, leaving only fear. It's really a ghost. Why did she suddenly have such a cold momentum? which made people more frightened than those princesses. Go back, Nan 11 said calmly, don't step into Tingyu Tower easily without your mother's permission in the future. After that, he closed the door in front of her. Outside the door, Nan Jiao twisted the handkerchief in her hand tightly, staring at the door without blinking. Her face was ashen and her eyes were blazing with anger. Just at this moment, Yin Shuang, who was standing outside like a door god, said coldly, why don't you get out of here? Window. Tabula equals window. Tabula. Tabula.push, mode, thumbs feed -01, container, tabula below article thumbnail -300x250, placement, below article thumbnail -300x250, target. Type, mix.